Okay, that's the part I've transcribed for Peg of My Heart so far. Just begun it, but I will be doing a full transcription of that song. But after I learnt even just that, I thought, this is why I haven't explored Cliff Gallup yet in the videos, in my lessons, as you may be familiar with. Because I have a certain reverence for Cliff Gallup. He was a brilliant player, and there's almost so much to take from his playing that I haven't even opened that can of worms. But here we are, so we're going to start small. Today's going to be more of a teach a man how to fish lesson than a catching the fish for you. Although you will learn how to play that riff. It's a beautiful riff. Not overly complicated, but what I really want to talk about today is the concepts behind the actual riff, so that you can take these ideas and run with them in your own playing. That's what I'm really, really big on. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Actually, there will be some ado. I just want to thank my latest Patreons. That's Sean Callahan. Thank you, Sean. Kerry from AJ. Thank you, Kerry. Kerry's also a member of Death Ray Cats Patreon. Check him out. He's great. Ian Brook. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on board. You will feel good for doing that. You'll get access to all of the transcriptions. But most importantly, you're taking ownership of something that you enjoy. If you visit any channel regularly and you can support that channel, I've done it with a few channels that I like, and it's great. It encourages me to go back to that channel, and I'm just getting behind something that I obviously am into. It feels good. It's a good thing. So guys, if you're not on the Patreon, even just not for me, check out Patreon. It's a really wonderful tool for creatives or musicians or artists that are putting something out there so you can give something back. So getting on with the lesson. Also, I would have loved to have used my Duo Jet for this lesson, but I'm keeping it at home because it's pretty much my go-to guitar. But it's here in spirit on my jumper, which you can have one of these. I have merch. Check out the merch link. So, the actual riffs here. This is the important stuff. Here's the lesson, guys. These chords for this song are based over an A major, an F sharp minor, a B minor, and an E minor. And what I'm talking about when I'm discussing the beautiful chords of Cliff Gallup and how to play chords like him is the ideas that he used. Okay, so if we take an A and we want to play it a little higher up the neck, we can play an A up here just like this, an A bar chord. You might have seen that before. So that's 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. But we don't need all of that guitar. Okay, we can just slim that down a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take from the 4th string, 7, 6, 5, 5. A little bit like an F chord. You want that first really horrible chord you had to learn because we've got a bar there. Well, here it is up here as an A chord. It's actually a little easier to play here up at the 5th fret. So that's what he's done for the first chord. Nothing complicated. He's just picked through it. Actually, it was more smooth. It's just bum, ba-dum, bum. Now, here's where it gets interesting straight away, and this shows Cliff Gallup knew his stuff. In fact, he was a big Charlie Christian fan, and I think if you're getting into jazz and all of that kind of stuff, you'd have some fretboard knowledge and ideas, at least inherently or by ear. So what he's actually done here, instead of doing some great big chord change, he's just added an F sharp to the chord. So it kind of becomes an A6 chord, but what these notes can also represent is an F sharp minor, as I mentioned, right? Which is a very common progression at that point in time, sort of the doo-wop thing. Okay. So instead of doing a big fat chord change, he's just added the F sharp, and now we've got an F sharp, an A, and a C sharp, F sharp, a C sharp, and an A, and those three notes are exactly the same as an F sharp minor triad. F sharp, A, C sharp, or F sharp, A, C sharp. Okay, just in a different order. So an A major chord is extremely similar to an F sharp minor chord, and of course that's the related minor. So F sharp is the related minor of A. So you can see not a lot of tweaking to be done. Very subtle, very pretty. It works really, really nicely. So if we did that in other keys, for example, if we did that up at a C here, by adding that A, we can capture an A minor. Or it could just be that it's an A and an A6, and that sounds fine. But now I'm actually doubting myself, but I think the bass goes to an F sharp, and that's a great indicator. So what happens next? The next chord's a B minor. Instead of just dropping back to a big fat B minor, he slid up to the 9th fret, and he did this version of a B minor. So all this is an E minor chord. Think of a big fat E minor, and we move up. There we go. There's a B minor, just like that. And again, just taking those top 4 strings. Okay, so that one's not particularly complicated. You can see that it's just off a root 6 bar chord, root 7. There were no 7 string guitars at that time, I don't believe, or certainly not in that music. So now from here, the next chord was an E, and what he's actually done here, and this is a little more subtle. He slid back and he's used the 6th fret here on the 4th string, 4th fret here on the 3rd string, and the 5th fret here on the 2nd string, and we get the doubling up of the E on the 5th fret and the 1st string. It's really pretty. Okay, so I quite like that. So that little chord, believe it or not, actually comes from a C chord. So if we look at a C chord and we slide it up to the 7th fret, oh, okay, that doesn't really work, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pinky, I'm going to put it there, I'm going to put my 3rd here. So we're on the 7, we're on the 5th string, that's an E. We're on a G sharp there on the 4th string, a B there on the 3rd string. On the B string, I've got my 2nd finger holding an E down, and I'm barring my 1st finger there. This is the normal way we would do it, okay? So if we think of a C chord like that, and we take it up, obviously we need to fret right across the 1st fret to cover the open strings. We keep moving that up. There it is there. Okay, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to ditch that pinky, because we don't need all these strings. Again, we don't need too much guitar. We just want to have the right amount of guitar, and that's what another thing Cliff Gallup did really, really well. So we've got the 6, the 4, the 5, and instead of barring my finger here as we would normally for that type of chord, I'm just going to lift my finger, and there it is. We can also see that this is like a D chord as well, okay? It's like a D chord, which you could argue came from the C chord when we moved it up. We just, again, at the top of the chord. So this is where we're at. We've got that E, really nice version of an E chord, okay? And again, it's not super complicated stuff. Theoretically, it's all quite simple, but it's pretty. It's really, really nice. So the next time around, he does the same thing, okay, for the A and the F sharp minor. Again, just sounds great. But this time he used the top part of a B minor chord, just like that. And well, you can see that it's just off a B minor like that. Okay, and then he plays an E chord by just using the 1st fret on the 3rd string and playing those open strings. Okay, so we don't need all that guitar. So it's not complicated, but it's very, very pretty, and there's a subtle sophistication even in the simplest ideas of Cliff Gallup's playing. Now, keep in mind he was a big Chet Atkins fan, and Chet Atkins was really good at using all these kinds of things. I mean, even that... I mean, that song, obviously, the melody was already there, but you can see there's that same little chord. And Chet Atkins was really great at using triads up and down the neck with great effect. You know, simple concepts with great effect, okay? That's just a little bit of inspiration for you guys, especially if you're developing your chops and just getting into this stuff, and you know, don't want to have to feel the need to play big, fat, full chords. You can you know, take the ends off them, and it doesn't have to be complicated, but it can still sound really, really good. And there you go, guys. So that's the entire lesson. Make sure you've hit the bell and all those kinds of things so you know when my other videos come out, because I will be doing a full lesson on Peg of My Heart. We might look at some of the lead lines out of Race with the Devil. That song's been taught. Okay, I don't need to do a transcription of that one, but I might break down a couple of the ideas for the exact same reason as I did this lesson today. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I guess I'll see you in the next one, and don't forget to check out my other videos. Catch you later.